Hi, this is Mika. So for today's episode, I thought of switching things up a bit and showing you guys what exactly I do for my clients. When I first started out Tidily Ever After, it was pretty difficult explaining to people what exactly it is I did. In fact, when I was registering my business, they didn't even know what category to put my services under. Professional organizing is fairly new in Manila, and so far I'm the only one that designs cabinets, built-ins, and even renovates spaces. So coupling those two services together, it was pretty difficult to explain to people what I did. So I would get a lot of questions, even from my friends, and they would ask me, do you clean houses? No, I don't. Do you organize? Yes, I do. What about designing storage, cabinets, or even renovating spaces? Most definitely. I started out on Instagram, and that's mostly where I share all of my work and the philosophies of why I do what I do. So I realize a lot of you have kind of chanced upon my YouTube channel and are not really familiar with that social media side of me. So I thought of revisiting some of my past projects that some of you guys may have missed to give you a better understanding of what I do. I offer two services. The first one is decluttering and organizing, and the second is space planning, interiors, and organizing. Some projects are pretty straightforward and they fall in either one of the two. But you also have the option of upgrading package number one if you need built-ins or storage and don't really require to remodel the whole space. Let's get started. My most basic service is organizing and decluttering my clients' spaces. So this project was for a stay-at-home mom who had one kid whose toys and things eventually found their way to the living room. So for those of you with kids, this site is all too familiar. So she actually had a lot of storage, but it was filled with mostly appliances that were broken beyond repair and other things that she didn't really use. So she actually hired me without telling her husband because she was quite unsure whether he would understand what I would do for their family. But when he came home after a long day of work, he was really happy and he was able to have a beer and watch TV in his living room. This project was for another stay-at-home mom who was an audiophile, and she absolutely loved listening to music, but it had been years because she really couldn't find her CD collection under all the clutter. So she hired me to finish the job while her kids were in school, and we really had to sort through each and every single item. So typically with any project, everything goes through me, and it was a lot of hand-holding for this project. We had different bins, different boxes, and it was mostly sorting through a lot of random paper, documents, and loose parts from her kids' toys. So we were able to finish the project just in time before her kids had come home, and she was able to relax and finally listen to her music. This was for a working mom, and while she was super busy, she did have staff to help maintain her home. But this guest room became the catch-all room for everything that would enter the house. In fact, I didn't even realize there was a bed under all that clutter. It was mostly her son's toys and a lot of things that she bought on her travels. So we actually decluttered the room with her son. And for me, it's actually really great to keep the kids involved, to teach them very early on about clutter, having ownership of their things, and really deciding for themselves what to keep. If I remember correctly, we had 10 bags of trash, 8 boxes for donation, and 15 boxes to sell, all from that one room. All these 3 clients required a simple decluttering and organizing session. They each required only 1 day with me and my team. This client of mine loves to shop, and she actually travels a lot and would bring back a lot of designer clothes. 50% of her things actually still had tags in them, so I knew it was going to take a while before she embraced a more minimalist lifestyle. She actually had 6 staff, but they couldn't get her wardrobe in check. In fact, they found me on Instagram and asked her to hire me and my team. We did several things for her home. The first was we decluttered her closet and came up with a system. After we decluttered and organized her walk-in closet, she still had a lot of things, so she still needed additional storage. I designed this closet, and if you notice, it's right beside her TV console, which we matched. So this is another service that we do for our clients. We matched our new pieces to their existing ones, so everything looks cohesive. She actually has a lot of shoes, and we identified 3 different areas in the home for her shoes. So she has her shoes, her 3 kids' shoes, and her husband's sports shoes. So while this system of hers works with all the plastic containers, it was quite unsightly because every time she would have guests over, you could see this from the living room. So I wanted to create something that was multifunction, something that could keep all her shoes in place and complement the rest of her home. This client of mine loves to host and has a lot of people over for parties. So this metal rack can actually be seen from her dining area. But before I designed a piece for this corner, we did a lot of work in her kitchen. So we decluttered and organized everything, cleared some space in her pantry, moved these items into the pantry, and then I wanted to design a cabinet to house all her glassware, and all of her hosting items are down below. Since she loves to cook, she actually had a lot of appliances, but she would mostly keep them on top of her kitchen cabinets, and it was quite messy to look at and very difficult to get to. So I designed this appliance pantry to make everything easily accessible. And if you notice, the two pieces that we made match her current kitchen cabinets. I never really buy containers or baskets or even suggest furniture before our organizing sessions. I really believe that you can try to make use of what you currently have, whether it's your furniture or your containers. So for these two clients, we decluttered first, and I realized they really needed additional storage. So that was the only time I designed something that was customized to their needs, and I organized their things after. This client of mine hired me initially to declutter. So from our initial conversation, I knew immediately that she was really committed for a change. In fact, she even asked me what she could do ahead of time, and I told her if she was ready to declutter on her own, that she could go ahead and do it. While we were able to declutter, sort, and organize her space, she realized when everything else was clear that she really wanted to upgrade her room. While we weren't allowed to take photos of the entire project for security purposes, these are some of the photos we can share. This area used to hold all her shoes and became a catch-all for her bags. She didn't have proper storage for either, and we designed this piece. This is my standard adjustable bag storage that we designed for our clients, and it's very versatile. She had a huge room but didn't have a proper working area. While we made great progress with this area of the room, her desk and shelf didn't address a lot of her concerns, which were to display her collectibles, to have a larger desk, and a pantry to store her snacks. We wanted to add more texture to the space, so we used woven panels for our furniture. Details are everything, and these baskets complement the rest of the space. No plastic containers here. Her TV console was directly in front of her bed, and I always tell my clients that they should wake up to a clear view. We upgraded her console, and we played around with mixing wood, brass, and fabric, which turned out really well. I love how this space was tidily transformed, and the client has long maintained the space even after we were gone. So those are some of the projects I feel give you a better understanding of the services that we offer. So we had decluttering, organizing, and providing storage space, and space planning, interiors, and organizing the things after we turn over the project. I hope I was able to give you a clearer picture of what I do as a professional organizer/designer. And the reason why I wanted to revisit these projects is really to show you that no mess is impossible. If you're faced with a mountain of clutter and really overwhelmed, you can do this on your own. And if you want additional help with the right tools and team, you can find your own Tidily Ever After. If you want more tips and tricks on organized living, don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Tidily Ever After.